they have done studies with rams, right? So this is something that I learned when I was looking into the effects that pornography has on the brain and how men will seek out novelty. And they found with these mews that they were studying that men finished more quickly with a newer partner.
Yeah,
okay.
The excitement.
So exactly. So I don't think I have to elaborate any further on the implications of that.
It's not just that. I think that if you have two people who care about each other, it's likely going to be better between them than a guy who's like, can I get this woman in the closet for a few minutes and then leave?
There is. I think there's a problem of chasing the orgasm. I think my mom would be like, your dad he's obsessed with sex. Oh my God, he just loves that. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I gotta not do that then. But like on the other side, it is pretty epic. You know, like a good orgasm is like what I don't think anything else in the world can compete with that. Maybe not a good meal. I mean, maybe a good meal if you're hungry.
I'm sure everybody in the comment is going to say
base. They're saying base.
They're going to say seeing the face of your child for the first time.
Oh yeah, good point. Raising
They're like,
kids.
Ian doesn't have kids. And
I was
doesn't
actually
understand.
thinking that today. Raising kids is far superior. Like having a family as far as just being with people.
And you're better off in a committed relationship with someone who you know won't just up and leave and take everything and your kids from you. And that's the other thing too with no fault divorce. You have no guarantee you get to keep your kids. There's just like the family has been completely destroyed, and there is a tremendous risk in having kids because they could just take your kids from you and then destroy your life.
There's only 11 states that have automatic 50-50 custody out of 50. So it's like if it's 50% is DNA, why doesn't he get 50% custody off the bat?
Well, there was a story out of Wisconsin where a guy who wasn't even the father, the woman claimed he was, and then the courts ordered him to pay child support because she listed him as the father, and the DNA proved he wasn't. They were like, we don't care. Kid needs a dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pearl? What do you think is like a solution to this no fault divorce situation?
Oh, I think we should ban divorce. I think we should ban it completely.
Except
Completely.
for
Like,
abuse?
what if a guy's beating his wife?
If he's beating his wife, I think there's an exception to every rule, but I don't think that makes the rule. But you know what else?
That's what it used to be.
Do you know what else they don't talk about? When they look at one-sided abuse, women hit men more than men hit women.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's the women that are beating their husbands more than the husbands are beating their wife when it's one-sided, because the majority of abuse cases is mutual. And the other thing they don't talk about, and I'm so tired of this on the show, these girls will come on and say, I was abused. And I used to just believe women, right? Because it's like, and it's kind of a sensitive, it's kind of awkward in the room when someone's like, oh, I was abused. But it's like, if you're bringing it up on the show, I'm going to ask you questions, right? You clearly you talked about it. So, and then I would ask questions, and I'd realize these girls were not talking about the part they had to play in the abuse. I'll give you an example. One girl, she says I was abused. So I say, okay, what happened? How, because I'm thinking like the average guy can beat me the hell, I'd be dead. Like I deadlift 300 pounds. I'm a semi-pro athlete. I had pro contracts in the fall. I'm 6 foot. Like I'm pretty built for a chick, right? And I'm still saying the average guy can beat me up. So I'm like, okay, if he was beating you like that, like where are your injuries, right? So I ask her, what happened? She says, well, he pushed me. Like he pushed me down the stairs or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, why? Like what led up to this? And come to find out, this girl wouldn't leave. So she refused. She was trespassing on this guy's house, wouldn't leave, and then he pushes her out of the house. That's abuse. That's abuse.
Is that actually what he did? Was that legal?
To push her out of the house?
Oh yeah, did he push her down the stairs though? Because that's different from like trying to remove someone from your property.
Well, that's what she was trying to do.
Okay.
That's what he was like.
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, don't push people downstairs.
Yeah.
I don't think he meant to. Like the way she was saying is like she wouldn't leave. So what are you supposed to do if she? Now you could call the cops, but I'm saying it wasn't this like
You gotta call the police.
Yeah. Because you have to protect yourself. But my point is she didn't talk about. Like my point isn't like was it abuse? Wasn't it abuse? My point is women don't talk about the part they have to play in it.
Yeah.
So
you know what I'd do? I would just go in my room, lock the door, call the police, and say I got a break-in. That's it. I mean,
yeah.
But it is like a person who enters your property without your permission, and I'd say there's an ongoing burglary. I've locked myself in my room. You guys come deal with it. Because what'll happen is if you try to physically remove her and the cops show up, she'll say, help, I'm being abused, and you will get arrested.
Right.
So just go in your room, lock the door. I'm not saying run and cower. I'm saying just separate yourself from this person and then call the police and be like, please come, burglary in progress. Then they'll come in and find the lady screaming and ranting, and you'll be like, I am in the other room. Door's locked, man.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, like, as I was saying before, what they did, and this is more pertaining to the UK, not the US, but I know some states have similar laws to this. They've basically expanded the definition of abuse to include things like coercive control, financial abuse. And they have like a list of like 5 to I think 10, and it's a point system. So basically what happens is if you like maybe 2 times he said you were financially abused, 3 times you were coercively controlled. Like they even say they were raped like early on in the relationship or something like that, even though they would like stay for later. And if you get like, I don't know, maybe it's 7 points out of 10, like then that's like considered abusive.
We have grapes growing on the property. This is crazy. No joke. You got to check them out. Like actual grapevines with, and you can see the grapes coming in.
Careful, but if you eat the skin before washing it off, there's a lot of like tannin on it.
Apparently you got to freeze them or something. They're called frost grapes. I don't know anything about it.
I had a similar situation.
But she said grape, so I was like.
Well, I didn't know if you could say that on the show.
You can say grape on YouTube.
Well, I don't know. But so like when it comes to abuse, like if it's a genuinely abusive situation, sure. Like we divorce, fine. But like, I think it's more of the exception than the rule, because even people that work at abuse like centers will tell you the majority of abuse cases, they're both abusing each other. So it's not just one-sided. So at that point, it's just like a toxic relationship. Maybe they should like take some time apart.